That's exactly how we start absolutely every single show. Flawlessly. Flawlessly.
Sorry. Good news, though. We're gonna have to move the party somewhere a little bit more private, but you're all invited. Lorenzo will give you the details. Yeah!
That's completely the wrong one. What happened to the right one? That's not clever. It's not clever at all. What are the humans doing?
Do you think you're ready? Can you handle the truth? Or are you in denial and demanding more proof? They demonstrate in real time how they're spinning you lies, but no one pays attention, no one opens their eyes. They walk around like zombies with their head in the mobiles, signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. Yeah. Signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. So if you think you're ready, you don't need more proof. Conspiracy deniers are denying the truth. They fabricate our problems and pretend to provide the best solution, but we all know they lied. They lied about the weapons and they lied about health. They lied about the fact that they're transferring the wealth. You should really notice how they're pushing the fear. Keep everybody terrified and not thinking clear. Yeah. Everybody's not thinking clear. Keep everybody terrified. Not thinking. Keep everybody terrified and not thinking clear. When you do, you realize that this is their trick. It's getting really stupid now, they're taking the mic. Said, do you think you're ready? Can you handle the truth? Or are you in denial and demanding more proof? They demonstrate in real time how they're spinning you lies, but no one pays attention, no one opens their eyes. They walk around like zombies with their head in the mobiles, signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. Yeah. Signaling their pick on their profile. Hey.
Oh, Sasquatch? Oh, yeah, he's like the Sandy Waxler of YouTubes.
Next time he'll get his own ketchup.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chilling with Sasquatch. I got my binky back.
What's that? Unmuted, yes.
You did it. You finally started a show. Am I muted? Okay, no, good. It's going to be a great show tonight. I have some terrible videos. I haven't shared them with my co-host. She hasn't seen any of it. So we're going to sit here and listen to her fan for a little while, and then we'll start the video.
Oh, my bad. I'm in the garage. It's hot.
I know, baby. I ain't sweating it, but you probably are. I understand. All right, so first video, right? We're just going to go ahead and do this one. It's like a minute and 13 seconds or so, a minute and 30 seconds. And the only reason I'm looking at this is because he commented on a video and I went to his channel and this is the only thing he has up. And he now has 1 subscriber, this guy. So his name is Viking Auditor, And his link's in the description. This is all you're going to get out of him, apparently.
I am Christine Johns. I am the lead faculty in the nursing department for NUR 2112 and 213. I've been doing it for 9 years.
Do you actively try to work on or improve your own critical thinking skills? If so, how do you do this? What activities or methods do you use and recommend?
We are based so strongly in critical thinking skills, plus being a clinician myself, we use it daily. And how do I do that on a daily basis? Everything that I do requires critical thinking and teaching in a critical thinking manner. So all of my classes, all of my research, all of my interactions, both in skills and didactics, are all based in my ability to portray and update critical thinking skills and processes.
What is more important, that a college student have subject matter skills or critical thinking skills, and why?
In nursing, you can teach a student an awful lot of information, and we do for 5 semesters. But if they don't know how to use what we gave them and how to apply it to every situation, every moment they come into, it's useless for them. So it is essential as a nurse in healthcare. All healthcare employees have to know how to think, how to process information, and manage patient care.
All right.
Step
now,
into
I'm
the
aware
shadows of the American.
that was an extremely boring tidbit of video. But I want you to look at what that video actually is, because this is a flawless
I am
example
Christine John.
of a subject first video. If you're starting in YouTube and you have no idea how to go about doing some shit, this is your most basic way to do it properly so that you can get your information across in a clear, concise manner. I mean, the editing is suspect. The sound levels aren't great. The flow of the video isn't fantastic, but this is phenomenal subject first entertainment. This is how you want to do a podcast if you're just going to stare in the camera and do it, right?
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to end up having to do some weird cheeky shit like I do, which is what I've done. All right, let's go back through chat now that we've had a minute for folks to get in. We're going to hide the current chat because I'm that type of guy. Smoking Auditor gets the gold. Good to see you, bud. Claiborne County Transparent. I'm not. Swiss Miss, did we decide you can't get it because you're always here? I think we did. Anyway,
But
shoot.
so is Smoking Auditor. I mean,
You're not wrong.
99%
Should I
of
just
the time.
block all mods? Did I do that once before? Maybe so. I don't know. But that's going to make it difficult. John Nicola gets the gold. Mitchell gets the silver. And Snarkin says she's a mod too. Shit. Toby, you get the bronze, bud. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Dennis Bowles is in here. Okay, so he is Mind Stretcher. If you ever find somebody commenting in your comments,
Oh, I
that's
know.
him. He's Mind Stretcher. It took me a week to put that shit together. I kept going, I know this guy, but why don't I know this guy? Swizz. Yep. Nightbot's here. Everybody say hey to Nightbot. Don't leave him out. Angel K's over there and one of yours. You've got what, 2 going on me, man? You maximize them, ain't you?
I mean,
I hear you, baby. No, make it work for you.
gotta do what you gotta do.
That's Viking Auditor's link right there. Usually I put them in the chat, but I'm not even sure I could put them in all the chats at the same time. Maybe.
Maybe.
And then Dr. Nady, good to see you, bud.
Rosalie.
And I'm starting to glitch up over Rosalie. Welcome. Love each and every one of you like a brother and a sister. Claiborne County Transparency. Whenever people do emojis like this, I'm not going to be sharing them on the screen because that looks silly. And it's nothing against you. But if you do emojis like this, I'll share them. You see how that works? So don't be pissed about it. All right. So we've gone all the way through chat. We caught up on both of them. And all right. So who's the most dangerous woman in American prisons today?
I don't know.
I have no
Before
fucking
you
clue.
said in prison, I would have said me, but
You, well, I guess it's whatever chick's holding the 45. The great equalizer. You know how that works. It's boopies for all y'all, and boopies right back at you too. I'm pretty sure she's half Fraggle.
mods are overrated. Yeah.
Sometimes, too many mods is not a good thing. It's necessary to shake the bush every now and then and see what falls out. Right?
Shake, rattle, and roll.
That's what she said. Hey, Pinky, you want to see who the most dangerous woman in the prison system today is?
Let's do it.
Penitentiary system where the echoes of these women's names send shivers down the spines of both inmates and guards alike. No felon would want to cross paths with these brutal women who have committed some of the most horrific crimes, as they won't think twice before resorting to violence in prison if provoked. In this gripping video, we unveil the chilling stories of the most feared women in US prisons. Brace yourself for an unflinching look at the
regardless of
menacing
whether
and
it do
fearsome
or don't.
reputation these women have carved in the
What's up, Barnaby?
archives
Good
of
to see you,
American
bud.
correctional history. Emma Coronel Aspiro. This is the story of a former beauty pageant winner turned cartel leader's wife. Don't go by her beauty and seemingly harmless appearance. It's a criminal mastermind who helped one of the biggest drug lords escape prison. Emma Coronel Aspiro is the wife of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the notorious Mexican drug lord and former leader of the Sinaloa cartel. Born on July 3rd, 1989, in Los Angeles, California, she is a dual citizen of the United States and Mexico. Emma Coronel Aspiro's father has a troubling past as a convicted drug lord and was once a devoted member.
Okay. So she's on this list of dangerous women. You reckon she has daddy issues?
Maybe.
I mean, LBG. So good, sir.
Yeah,
What
you
is
did
this?
it
Good there, sir.
wrong.
Yep. Daddy, yes, no, probably, maybe.
It's a mother-loving LBG.
The mother-loving LBG. Son.
The infamous Sinaloa cartel, a well-known criminal organization based in Sinaloa, Mexico. Growing up in the remote village of La Angostura, Durango, Emma was surrounded by the influence of drug cartels during her formative years. Despite her challenging environment, she pursued an education and studied journalism in Culiacan, the capital city of Sinaloa. Emma's background in journalism is believed to have instilled in her the confidence to interact with the media effectively. To her education, she also embarked on a career as a model and beauty queen. She took part in the
I have those.
2007
What kind do
Coffee
you
and Guava
have?
Festival beauty pageant in Canelas, Durango, where she ultimately emerged victorious, winning the title of beauty queen. During the party that was hosted as a part of the beauty contest, Emma Coronel
Facts
Aspiro's
detected.
father
Be careful with
introduced
those
her
on
to El
YouTube.
Chapo when she was just 17 years old, and El Chapo was reportedly 51 years old. Despite El Chapo having been married 3 times before, Emma couldn't resist falling in love with him. Their love story started at an event arranged by her father.
Her love story started at an event arranged around his wallet. I'm certain of it. You see, this woman is psychic. She has the ability to look at a man like this deeply into his eyes and see how much weight he has in his bank account.
Which brought El Chapo into their lives and eventually kindled a romantic connection between the two. The couple got married in 2007 and became parents to twin daughters, Emali and Maria, in 2011. Aspiro has seen both her father and her husband getting apprehended by the authorities. In April 2013, Mexico's federal police apprehended Inés Coronel Barreras, Emma Coronel Aspiro's father, in the city of Agua Prieta in the state of Sonora. According to the police report, he was caught along with his son and 3 other individuals as they were getting ready to transport marijuana across the Arizona border. Subsequently, on April 28, 2017, Inés Coronel Barreras was convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison for his involvement in drug trafficking and illegal
Angel K
possession
gets
of
it.
firearms.
She understands.
In 2014, El Chapo was captured in Sinaloa, Mexico, but managed to escape in 2015. He had escaped prison in 2001 as well. However, his freedom was short-lived as the Mexican Marine and federal police successfully recaptured him. Then, on January 19th, 2017. 3 years later, he faced extradition to the United States.
I'm gonna be
Eventually,
nice,
he was
but I'm never
sentenced to
thankful
life
for the things I
imprisonment
do
for his
not
crimes,
say.
marking the end of his reign of terror. Coming from a family of drug traffickers and marrying a powerful cartel leader, Emma too became involved in their crimes. In July 2015, El Chapo orchestrated a daring escape through an astonishing 500-meter tunnel that had been meticulously dug from
I
an
know,
entry
brother,
point
I
within the
know.
prison's shower block. This underground passage was well equipped, featuring lighting, ventilation, and even rails to facilitate the removal of debris. El Chapo's escape seemed
They
to be
got them a
straight out of a movie,
Kawasaki on
but
the
he didn't.
railroad track under there.
Is that what it was?
That's pretty sure that's what I saw. It might have been a Honda. Hondas run longer.
Shower block.
Okay, yeah. Said about a 125. That'd do it, dude. You could haul a whole bunch of hoochie mamas on that thing. You can traffic a bunch of people. No problem.
Escape seemed to be straight out of a movie, but he didn't plan it all by himself. He had Emma's help. The former beauty queen and seemingly calm and sophisticated Emma has a sharp criminal mind. The Washington, D.C. District Court accused Emma Coronel Espuro of aiding and abetting her husband during this audacious escapade. Her alleged involvement added another layer of intrigue to the already sensational tale of El Chapo's prison break. On February 22nd, 2021, Emma Coronel Espuro was apprehended at Dulles International Airport. The arrest warrant issued by the FBI outlined the probable cause, which included evidence of Coronel's involvement in relaying messages from El Chapo to associates.
That's what Swiss Miss says.
Affidavit further stated that she allegedly played a role in helping El Chapo escape from Federal Social Readaptation Center Num 1, also known as Altiplano, in 2015 through bribery. Additionally, following his recapture, she was accused of assisting in coordinating another escape attempt, which was ultimately thwarted after El Chapo's extradition to the United States. The FBI cited several pieces of evidence, including a handwritten letter written and signed by El Chapo himself, as well as the statements of two unnamed cooperating witnesses who had previously worked with Guzman. These findings formed the basis of the arrest warrant and added to the complex legal proceedings surrounding Emma Coronel Espuro's alleged involvement with her husband's criminal activities. On November 30th, 2021, Emma Coronel Espuro received her sentence from Judge Rudolph Contreras of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. The judge sentenced her to 3 years in prison, and she was to be under supervised release for an additional 4 years after serving her sentence. However, later on, the prison sentence was reduced to 31 months. Currently, she is serving her term at the Federal Medical Center, Carswell. Her expected release date is scheduled for September 13th, 2023, when she will have completed her designated time behind bars. Kardashian lookalike is spending her days in prison. She doesn't have much to do. Her prison life is the stark opposite of the lavish and luxurious celeb-like lifestyle she was leading outside on El Chapo's drug money. She spends 22 hours in her small cell doing nothing except reading a book. That's the price you pay for helping a cartel leader, but 3 years doesn't seem to be a good enough sentence. Anyway, moving on, the next one will definitely send chills down your spine. Antoinette Frank. Antoinette.
I think I remember this one. You remember this one?
And yeah, I do.
Freakish.
Wait.
Frank was a New Orleans police officer. Yes, you read that right.
We might do
This is
that
the
in the
story of a cop gone
after.
bad. How did she become a cold-blooded murderer? Antoinette Frank, born on April 30th, 1970. Throughout her tumultuous upbringing, she experienced an unstable childhood. Despite this, she held a clear ambition since her early years. She aspired to become a policewoman. However, as a teenager and young adult, Antoinette Frank faced considerable challenges due to her broken family dynamics. Her brother was a fugitive from the law, and her father was mostly absent from her life. These circumstances took a toll on her mental well-being, necessitating psychiatric intervention and support. When Antoinette Frank sought to become a police officer in Louisiana, she resorted to dishonesty by concealing her psychological and psychiatric condition.
Classic age-old tried
Despite
true
lying on
method
various
to become a
sections of
cop.
her application, she managed to secure a position in the New Orleans police force. Her time in the police force was brief, lasting less than a year. It was during a shooting incident that she crossed paths with Rogers Lacaze, who was allegedly involved in drug dealing. Lacaze sustained severe injuries during the shooting and needed assistance from Frank, leading to hospitalization. This encounter marked the beginning of a significant connection between the two.
We are looking at dangerous women in history, recent history. We're not going further back than about 40 years, 35 years, something like that. El Chapo's wife was like this kind of current.
Oh, here we go. ATL.
Bro.
Bring
Bro.
it. Come
Bro.
on.
Bro. Careful.
Antoinette Frank and Rogers Lacaze's romance blossomed rapidly, and the couple found
Oh my gosh.
each other. Frank seemed to find comfort and solace in Lacaze's presence, and their relationship was characterized by intense passion. Their connection grew so strong that Frank allowed Lacaze, who was 18 years old at the time, to drive her police car on occasion. On March 4th, 1995, Frank and Lacaze visited a Vietnamese restaurant named Kim An
You see that?
in Louisiana. As the restaurant was closing, 20
You gotta forgive him. He's about 15-20 minutes after taking his nighttime medication. He's gonna be a little mouthy. There ain't much I can do about it. I mean, I can't control what people do when I'm not around.
Oh, I can time him out though. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, don't be mean. You can do that in your channels, but let him go. I find him humorous. He tries to troll. It's so cute.
23-year-old Chow Vu, the owner of the restaurant, went into the kitchen to count the money. The events that unfolded next would leave a lasting impact on the lives of those involved and the community around them. Frank and Lecrae's hadn't gone
What's up,
to the
Belt Luke?
restaurant
Good
to
to see you,
eat,
bud.
but to steal money.
Luke.
Frank even worked at the restaurant as a security guard when she was off duty. The place soon turned into chaos as
I'm
Frank,
not dropping his link.
along with a restaurant employee, hid, but some others weren't as fortunate.
That's good
Gunshots were
advice,
heard.
Conk. I
Lecrae's
like
had
it.
punctured the body of 25-year-old
Sasquatch
officer
approves.
Ronald Austin Williams with 3 bullets. Williams just worked at the restaurant off duty to supplement his police officer's salary. When Chow Vu and her brother, 19-year-old,
I just
Kwok,
appreciate
emerged
you
from their
coming by,
hiding
brother.
place,
I mean,
they saw
like,
the dead
this ain't a
bodies of
job.
their brother and sister.
Show up when you get
24-year-old
here.
Ka
Take
Vu
shoes
and
off. Stick
17-year-old
around a
Kwok
while.
Vu.
It'll be all right.
They immediately called 911. The bizarre thing about this incident was that after the first officers arrived at the crime scene, Frank too came in acting like she didn't know anything. In fact, she wanted to reach before anyone else so she could kill the witnesses, but the other officers were quick to respond and reached the crime scene at almost the same time as Frank. A distraught Chow ran to the officers and told them what Frank had done. Frank was the murderer. She tried lying her way out of it and was so blatantly manipulative that even the seasoned officers were stunned. She was cold-hearted and didn't show any remorse. Frank and Lecrae's were apprehended and charged with first-degree murder. The former New Orleans police officer was found guilty of all 3 murders. A police officer's duty is to protect people from heinous crimes. Antoinette Frank did the exact opposite. She became the killer. She was supposed to save
Maybe
her.
Belt Loop had.
Trial of Antoinette Frank
Police
commenced
to
on
police
September
had.
5th, 1995, and just a week later, September 12th,
Don't be calling folks out. We
1995,
don't
the
dox
jury
people on my
delivered
show.
a
You know
unanimous
better than
guilty
this. Don't be
verdict on
silly.
all charges
Stop being
against her.
blind.
The jury also
Oh my.
death sentence for all counts. Subsequently, on October 20th, 1995, the formal sentencing resulted in the imposition of the death penalty. She is the only woman on Louisiana's death row, confined at the Louisiana Correctional Institute for Women in St. Gabriel. During the investigation, a significant development emerged involving Frank's father. Not long before the robbery, her father had been staying at her residence, but he suddenly disappeared. Authorities made a grim discovery when they found a human skull with a bullet hole in it buried beneath Frank's house
I
shortly
kinda
after
like
her
that
father's
name.
disappearance. This finding contributed to Frank becoming a prime suspect in the restaurant murders, adding another layer of complexity to the case against
good
her.
one.
Since the time she was sentenced, there have been numerous appeals.
It
by
doesn't
her
tell you
defense team,
anything
which
at
have
all
always
about what the
resulted in
channel
a stay
does,
on her
but
execution.
it sticks
She's
in your
still
head
on
when you
death
think
row.
about it.
Should Frank face execution, it would mark a
Heinous-
significant historical
ha-
event,
heinous-
as she would become the first woman to be put
Heinous.
the state of Louisiana
He's trying to
since
say heinous.
1942. Her case gained public attention and media coverage, and it was notably
Instead, he
featured
just
in an
wrote anus
episode
and
of
put an
Deadly
H on
Women
it.
titled Born Bad.
I was ordered here for community service.
On the Investigation Discovery cable channel, shedding light on the disturbing details surrounding her criminal actions and the impact they had on the lives of those involved. Celeste Carrington. Celeste Carrington is a cold-blooded murderer with a traumatic past. Her crimes were so
All right.
horrific.
We've had this conversation on the show before, and I was told in under no circumstances do you trust a woman named Celeste. Ever.
Ever.
What's up, Keto and Kratom?
Oh, I hear my daughter. She's screaming.
ATL. Calm down, my brother. It'll be all right, man. You know, they can actually do things now.
Horrific that they warranted a death sentence and made her inmates shudder. What made her such a heartless killer? Celeste Carrington and her siblings were born to a poor family in Philadelphia. To parents who could barely provide for them, Celeste's mother would often beat the children. Carrington's father began sexually assaulting her when she was only 7 years old and got her pregnant when she was 14. She got the pregnancy aborted and left her home. Carrington spent the following 16 years living on the fringes of society. She worked menial jobs for a living. Amidst the challenges, Carrington pursued her education, earning her general education diploma, and even took some courses at a community college in Southern California. Eventually, in the early 1990s, her journey led her to East Palo Alto, California, where she may have sought new opportunities and a fresh start in life. After a turbulent period in her life, Celeste Carrington's circumstances seemed to stabilize. She shared an apartment with Jackie, a single mother raising 3 children. Celeste's affection for Jackie was strong, and she was determined to support them financially. To make ends meet, Celeste worked for a janitorial company that serviced office buildings on the peninsula. However, her life took another turn when she was caught stealing checks in late 1991, resulting in her termination from the job. Despite losing her employment, Carrington held on to the keys of the buildings she had previously cleaned, sensing they might prove useful in the future. Facing financial struggles and desperate to support Jackie and her children, Carrington resorted to criminal activities. On January 17, 1992, she broke into a Dodge auto dealership in Redwood City, stealing cash, electronics, and a loaded .357 Magnum pistol from an employee's desk. 9 days later, on January 26, 1992, Carrington borrowed a neighbor's car and used the previously stolen keys to gain entry into an office building at 1123 Industrial Road in San Carlos.
.357. Got him a .357 pistol. A revolver. Why did that bother me so much? .357. You know, Americans finally decided to use the metric system, but you know, in an American fashion, they decided to only use it for things that are important. So we measure our bullets with it.
When the alarm went off, custodian Victor Esperaz approached her. To deceive him, she claimed to be from the janitorial company, pretending to have a legitimate reason to be there that night. However, once Esperaz let his guard down, Carrington brandished the powerful pistol, robbing him of $40, his ATM card, and his personal identification number. Then, in a horrifying act, she forced him to kneel before mercilessly shooting the 34-year-old man in the head. During the early months of 1992, Carrington was suspected to be involved in approximately a dozen burglaries on the peninsula, all executed with a similar modus operandi. On March 11th, 1992, Carrington hitched a ride with a neighbor to 777 California Street in Palo Alto, intending to burglarize another building she possessed the keys for. However, upon arrival, she discovered that the lock to the building had been changed. Carrington waited until everyone finished their work. After successfully breaking in later, she heard 36-year-old property manager Carolyn Gleason enter the premises. Seizing the opportunity, Carrington ambushed Gleason in a photocopy room, robbing her of $400, her ATM card, and car keys. Displaying no mercy, Carrington forced the terrified woman to kneel down on her knees and callously shot her in the head, leaving behind another life tragically lost. Carrington then took her car and embarked on a spree of ATM withdrawals to deplete Gleason's bank account before eventually abandoning the car at a Palo Alto hospital and calling a taxi to return to her home in East Palo Alto. But her horrific killing spree did not stop here. 5 days later, on March 16, 1992, Carrington targeted another office building located at 801 Brewster Avenue in Redwood City. To her surprise, the building was still open, prompting her to hide in a closet until everyone had left for the day. When the coast was clear, she discovered Dr. Alan Marks alone in his office. Recognizing Carrington from her previous cleaning duties, Dr. Marks confronted her when she burst through the door, brandishing her gun. During a struggle between the two, Carrington fired her weapon twice, hitting Dr. Marks in the left shoulder, left thumb, and right forearm. Fortunately, the last bullet in the pistol misfired, saving the doctor from further harm. Carrington managed to steal some access cards and sample drugs before Dr. Marks bravely pushed her out of his office, locking the door and immediately contacting the police for help. By the time police arrived, Carrington had fled the scene. After all that happened, Carrington wasn't scared at all and continued her reportedly committed 2 more burglaries until the early morning hours of March 21st.
Yeah, I left way early.
On that day, a team of police officers from Los Altos, Redwood City, and Palo Alto, armed with a search warrant, arrived at the apartment she shared with Jackie and the 3 children. The detectives uncovered a staggering amount of evidence linking Carrington to the crimes. Among the items found were the keys Carrington had failed to return, along with Carolyn, Gleason's cash box, which still contained her ATM card, and a piece of paper with her PIN written on it. Additionally, the police discovered Gleason's purse in the apartment. Drug packets that originated from Dr. Alan Marks's office were also found. The most significant discovery discovery was the .357 Magnum pistol, still containing spent shells inside
Why
the
does that
cylinders,
bother me
which
so
linked her to
much?
the shootings and violent acts she had committed.
.357
The trial
Magnum
of Celeste
pistol.
Carrington was a clear-cut case, as the evidence presented to the jury was overwhelming and left little room for doubt. Despite the efforts of her public defender to plead for leniency due to her traumatic childhood, Carrington was found guilty of multiple
Yo,
charges.
Strictly
The jury
Strange.
found her
What's up,
guilty of the
brother?
attempted murder of
Hey,
Dr. Alan
yo,
Marks,
let's
as well
go
as the
do
murders of
something
Victor Esperaz
spectacular.
and Carolyn Gleason. As a result of the convictions, Carrington was sentenced to death on November 23, 1994. Currently, she remains on San Quentin's death row.
So I have a question for everybody in all the chats everywhere and beyond.
And beyond.
What would a retired 47-year-old freakazoid look like? Because Freakazoid never actually had like real superpowers. He does, but only when it's funny. And I mean funny to a Reddit troll, not like. So he'd have to like get a regular job.
I don't know.
I think there might be a lot there to work with. I have to think on that one.
Row, awaiting the outcome of.
So I got this idea for a short, right? And it's gonna be like Freakazoid screaming at the camera and be like, "So you say vote blue no matter who? Vote for my blue Smurf dick."
What?
And the very next scene will be. They did. My fellow Americans.
Right, indoctrinated.
And further legal proceedings. Krista Pike. Krista Pike is the youngest woman to be sentenced to death in the post-Furman period. The brutal and senseless nature of her crime sent her straight to death row. Let's take a look at her chilling story. Krista Gale Pike was born on March 10, 1976, in West Virginia, but her early life was marked by difficulties. Her mother prioritized partying, drinking, and drug use over raising her daughter, while her father showed no interest in caring for her. As a result, Krista was primarily raised by her grandmother during her formative years. However, tragedy struck when Krista's grandmother passed away when she was only 12 years old. This loss turned her world upside down, and she had to move back in with her mother. Her mother's influence led her down a troubled path as she was introduced to marijuana at a young age during her early teenage years. The combination of a challenging upbringing and exposure to drugs significantly impacted Krista Pike's life trajectory. After dropping out of high school, Krista Pike's life took a troubled turn as she found herself on the wrong side of the law, arrested for shoplifting. This offense resulted in a 1-month stay in juvenile detention. Seeking a fresh start and a chance to build a better future, Pike joined Job Corps with the intention of training to become a nurse technician. However, her focus soon shifted away from her studies.
Another great
Became fixated on a young man named Tadderall Shipp. This infatuation with Shipp set off a chain of events that would ultimately lead to a shocking and tragic outcome: the murder of an innocent girl. The complex series of events surrounding Pike's life and her unhealthy obsession with Shipp would have far-reaching consequences, forever altering the lives of those involved. Shipp and Pike's romantic relationship blossomed rapidly. However, what was particularly concerning was their shared interest in Satanism and the occult, albeit a distorted interpretation of these beliefs. This fascination with dark elements drew the attention of other Job Corps attendees, including an attendee named Shadola Peterson. Colleen Slemmer, a cheerful and bright young woman from Jacksonville, Florida, joined the Knoxville Job Corps with the goal of studying computer technology. Shortly after her arrival, tensions escalated between Slemmer and Krista Pike, culminating in a bitter conflict. Pike accused Slemmer of flirting with Shipp and attempting to take him away from her. Despite Slemmer denying any romantic interest in Shipp, Pike managed to convince both Shipp and Peterson that sacrificing Slemmer in the name of Satan was necessary. This chilling belief.
Hold on. So Chicky was catching it from both ends, and they decided to sacrifice him to the devil. Okay, it was the 80s. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Seems a bit excessive, I guess, to me. I mean, they were just screwing around after all. It wasn't like they were out there, sacrificing people to the devil or anything. Just saying, man. What's up, Mitch? Good to see you, bud. Welcome in.
Welcome in.
Welcome in.
Welcome in.
Stage for a horrific and tragic event that was about to unfold. On January 12th, 1995, Pike, along with Taddarl Shipp and Shadola Peterson, lured Slemmer into the woods. the pretense of offering her some marijuana. Once they were in the secluded area, Pike and Ship launched a brutal and vicious attack on Slemmer, while Peterson kept watch as a lookout for the pair's sinister actions. They beat her up mercilessly, and Pike went on to carve a pin before bludgeoning her to death. Pike also kept a piece of Slemmer's skull as a souvenir, which shows that her criminal mind and ruthless heart lacked all empathy or remorse. Shockingly, none of Pike's friends reported the crime to the cops, but the authorities soon discovered her body. In the meanwhile, Pike bragged about her depraved crime and even showed the piece of Slemmer's skull to some of her friends. It wasn't long before the police came knocking on her door, and she was interrogated.
Why the fuck are you walking around with a chunk of her skull?
What?
She killed her,
Hello,
then is
Adrian.
wandering around the freaking countryside over here with a chunk of her skull in her pocket. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Good to see you, darling.
Izzy.
Izzy. What's up? What's happening, Captain?
Interrogated on January 15th, 1995. She confessed.
Where
She
does
said
that get
Slemmer's
flown?
constant begging for her life made her angrier, and every time Slemmer said something, Pike beat her up and sliced her throat even more. In the courtroom, the jury reached a verdict for Darrell Ship, finding him guilty of murder, which led to a life sentence with the chance of parole after 25 years. Shadola Peterson cooperated with the state as a witness, and in return, pleaded guilty to being an accessory after the fact, receiving probation as her sentence. In the case of
Exactly. You see, I guarantee you, I don't make it to the nearest freaking jet store with a piece of skull in my pocket that I don't get searched and locked up for life.
For life.
This chick's wandering around with it on a fucking keychain like that shit's okay and it's fine. I don't get it. I miss some people. Hold on. I saw Truth Be Told sneak in somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, there you are, bud. Welcome in. Good to see you. Tiffany's Epiphany's in here. How you doing? Good to see you. How you doing? How you doing?
of Krista Pike, the jury swiftly reached their decision, convicting her of capital murder and conspiracy to commit murder after a remarkably brief deliberation of just 2.5 hours. As a consequence, on March 30th, 1996, she was sentenced to death by electrocution. The legal proceedings concluded with the finality of the jury's decision, marking the beginning of a lengthy and complex legal journey for Krista Pike.
You were carrying some chick's skull around, piece of a skull around in your pocket. You didn't expect they were going to fry your ass? I'm chilling like a villain, you know, cheating, robbing, rhyming, stealing.
Pike on death row. She's still on death row and hasn't been executed yet. Krista Pike's behavior as a prisoner can only be described as far from exemplary. Even to this day, she has exhibited no signs of remorse for the heinous murder of Colleen Slemmer. In fact, shortly after receiving her death sentence by electrocution, she penned a deeply troubling letter to Darrell Ship, further highlighting the disturbing nature of her mindset and actions. In August 2004, Krista Pike faced another conviction, this time for attempted first-degree murder following her vicious attack on fellow inmate Patricia Jones. She attempted to strangle Jones using a shoestring, demonstrating the disturbing extent of her violent tendencies within the prison walls.
All right, I want you to look at this chick and tell me how many red flags you see. If I come across this chick at a party, there is nothing under the sun that would get me to hit on.
Why?
She's obviously nuts. First of all, there's this orange jumpsuit, right? But seriously, no. I mean, first of all, we have the benefit of hindsight. We know what she's done. And you see that slightly deranged look, crook to her eyebrows? Y'all don't see the crazy that's just oozing off of this photograph? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Shockingly, just days after the brutal assault, Pike made a phone call to her mother and callously described the gruesome details of the attack. She laughed as she recounted how she had tightly wrapped the shoestring around Jones, causing her to lose consciousness, twitch, and foam at the mouth, with her eyeballs bulging and eyelids flipped up. This disturbing and chilling account showcased the extent of Pike's violent behavior and lack of remorse.
I guarantee you, no. If you get involved with this chick, you are going to have scars, both physical and emotional. Promise you.
In March 2012, Krista Pike found herself entangled in an escape
Trust me,
plan with
boys,
an
I've
inmate
been
from New
down this
Jersey.
path
While
before.
She was not formally charged with a crime, her involvement was significant enough to result in the conviction of Donald Kohut, who was found guilty of bribery and conspiracy to
Stop
commit escape, leading to a
Just
7-year
quit,
sentence.
dude.
As part of the conspiracy, a corrections officer named Justin Heflin was implicated in aiding the escape plan. His actions cost him his job, as he was dismissed from his position for his role in the plot. While defense attorneys have argued that Pike has mental illnesses and it is unfair to have her on death row, her actions are truly horrific. She shows no remorse
Army vet 420 says she got a 5 head.
and continues her crimes in prison. Her execution date keeps getting pushed, and the victim's family is still waiting for Pike's execution for justice to be truly served. Anna Marie Hernandez. Anna Marie was a prominent figure in the drug trafficking world, earning the moniker La Muñeca, which translates to the doll, due to her stunning beauty and refined features. Her allure and elegance were matched by her extravagant and lavish lifestyle, which eventually became her undoing, drawing attention to her activities. What value does outer beauty have when one has a criminal mind and a cold heart? At the age of 38, Hernandez had escaped from Texas after admitting guilt to drug smuggling and bribery charges in El Paso in 2013. The federal criminal complaint detailed her involvement with her ex-husband, Daniel Ledesma, in a large-scale operation where they clandestinely transported thousands of kilograms of cocaine through an El Paso border crossing, taking advantage of Ledesma's
Colombian
He worked
powder
for the United States Customs and Border Patrol Agency in
So
El
that
Paso.
bear fuel.
Under the cover of the lanes inspected by Ledesma, the drug trafficking operation successfully transported drugs to multiple cities in the United States, including Chicago, St. Louis, and Panama City, Florida. As described by Mike
Facts
Vigil, the
detected
former chief
strictly
of
strange.
international operations
You know the
for
struggle.
the DEA, Hernandez utilized her striking appearance and cleverness to carry out her smuggling activities. Her charm enabled her to gain access to senior members of the Sinaloa and Juarez cartels, operating in both Texas and Mexican border cities. Initially associated with the Juarez cartel, La Muñeca gradually transitioned into a major drug trafficker for the Sinaloa cartel, led by the infamous Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, following the decline of the Juarez cartel. Her involvement with the Sinaloa cartel raised suspicions about a potential romantic connection to El Chapo, as he was known to have a fondness for attractive women.
Okay, so I'm starting to notice the theme here.
What's the theme?
Cartel.
No.
They seem to be a somewhat violent organization or some such. What's up, JC News Now? Welcome to the show, bud. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
Yep.
Go-
Gosh.
Women. Mike Vigil, the former DEA director of international operations, said in an interview, attractive women like Hernandez are highly sought after by cartel leaders. They bring them into the fold and a lot of times have relationships with them. According to one informant, Hernandez was known for indulging in a luxurious lifestyle, spending considerable amounts of money on extravagant purchases. This included a significant cash sum of $30,000 used to install an in-ground pool at her Texas residence. Vegas, the informant witnessed her lavish spending on clothing and shoes, amounting to thousands of dollars. In a particularly concerning social media photo, Hernandez was seen posing in front of her closet, where she accessorizes herself with a high-capacity rifle, highlighting her involvement in a dangerous world of drug trafficking and
Wait a
showcasing her
second,
flaunting
hold
of
on.
wealth.
Why do I got the feeling this is a perfectly ordinary rifle?
What?
Well, you see, most of your AR types or AK styles
Mm-hmm.
that you order come with 30-round clips in them. Like a 30-round magazine is stock. That's standard. That is not an extended magazine. This is not a high capacity anything. That is the capacity.
Right.
Standard, right? Did I get the impression this guy's doing that kind of shady, sideways, negative Second Amendment thing? I don't know. Raised the hairs off the back of my neck. New Mexico just going like full retard. You're not supposed to go full retard. I thought we discussed this. Like that whole Constitution thing, but you can hedge up to the edges of that shit, but when you straight come abreast of it, your ass will be deposed. Watch. It's gonna get ugly, man. Because she's gonna be like, I don't believe you because my beliefs is better. You know, right side of history and shit like that. You get a wrong side of the Constitution, that shit can get real nasty quick.
Yeah.
And I mean in a legalistic sense, allegedly, in Minecraft. You want a good chuckle on that front? Go check out what was his name? The dude doing the AK-50, Brandon Herrera. Brandon Herrera went and did a reading of an AI Dr. Seuss Civil War poem, and it is hilarious. Hilarious.
And weaponry. Ledesma faced conviction in 2010 and will serve 10 years for allowing the smuggling of hundreds of pounds of cocaine across the border and accepting a bribe of $100,000 for the same in 2005. Meanwhile, his former wife, Hernandez, was apprehended in Chihuahua City, Mexico in 2015 based on a fugitive warrant. She was extradited back to the United States and is in federal custody in El Paso. Hernandez is serving up to life in prison for drug trafficking and 10 years for bribery charges. Those were some very gruesome crimes committed by some very vicious women. Where there's crime, there's justice. Well, in at least hopes. If you'd like to watch some more criminals being brought to justice, click on one of the cards on your screen.
No!
Cops are known for being deceitful.
All right. So this is another good one. This one, okay. I'm not sure which way this title's going, ironical or legitimate, but made that word up. It's from a relatively tiny channel, if I remember right. Nope, not this one. The next one is. Wait. Right. The next one is. Right. So this one, all right. So I got a lot of shit going on. I had somebody like, this show was supposed to be Thursday and vice versa. But anyway, homie is fixing to try to talk his way out of a murder rap. Do we have any faith in this man's ability to do this?
Yes.
You see the fuzzy-headed guy right there at the bottom?
Yes.
You think he's going to do it? All right, let's see.
And abusing their authority whenever they get a chance, even with teenagers. But what happens when the youngsters outsmart them? Here are 3 times when teens owned bad cops, starting with the case of Bay City, Michigan Police Chief Michael Ciccini, who, on 17th September 2022, had been found harassing 19-year-old Parker Whalen and 18-year-old Travis Krim.
Get out of here! I didn't even do that. Yeah, you did. What'd I go? What'd I do? Go! I didn't see anyone else. Like, go. I know. You disturbed my peace. Wait, you just committed battery. No. That's you hit it with a flashlight. That's bad. Get out of here. How is that right? Leave. Battery, right?
Travis realized that the chief had just committed battery against him since he punched him with the flashlight. Luckily for the teens, one of them had been recording the whole ordeal.
You just committed battery, right? Chief of police. That doesn't work that way, dude. You don't have a right to disturb the peace. You have a right to your rights end when they infringe on downtown flashlight, bro. What are you talking about? I didn't even do it. How did you feel threatened, bro? Is it my luscious locks? Are you jealous?
My luscious locks.
All right, so I want to point out the same problem we had with the earlier video. That is a bald cop. Always be extra careful with bald cops, especially short bald cops. You want to immediately comply with a short bald cop. He'll just tag your ass. He does not care. He's got no shits to give, huge chip on his shoulder, and he can't grow any hair, so he's mad. He may be threatened by luscious locks. It's true.
I would be jealous too. Look at my bench out here, bro. Call the cops, bro. You committed battery. I can assault you all I want. You're just assault me. You want to make out? I'll make out with you right now. I sweep both ways, bro. Go ahead. Assault.
He said he'd make out with him.
He sounded like it.
I heard that. I swear to God, I just heard that kid say he'd make out with him.
Hey, bro. Is it my luscious locks? Are you jealous? Huh? I would be jealous too. Look at my bench out here, bro. Call the cops, bro. You committed battery. I can assault you all I want. You're just assault me. You want to make out? I'll make out with you right now.
I want to make out.
Go ahead. Assault me.
That's exactly what I said. I swing both ways, bro. Dude, he gets sweet up here on Mr. Clean. All right. Okay. Say no more.
gonna touch you. I'm not gonna touch you. I know.
Get
better.
out of his face.
I know better, bro.
Hey,
What is
can
he
you
doing
send a
to you?
unit down here? I've got 3 hooligans that need to go.
Hooligans, you hit me with a flashlight.
I'm at 9th Street in front of River's Edge.
Officers arrive on the scene soon after and start questioning the chief about the details.
Come here. They hit the cone. They're messing around here around this new monument.
Hey, Midwest accountability. That's what she said.
Oh,
Yep. I
Yep.
did that.
It went on for about 5 minutes.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay,
That's
I had
cool.
enough. I'm
See that-
upstairs.
See,
All right.
this is what cool people do. They share. It's a superpower on the tubes of you.
Right? I said some bad words. All right. Okay. He challenged me to fight and dared me to come down. Okay. I came down.
I'm gonna beat your ass, and then I'm gonna take you to jail.
What? What I do?
Get out of here.
I didn't even do that.
What's up, Johnny?
Yeah,
Good to see you,
yeah.
bud.
He stood off on
Welcome
me,
in.
and I did a pectoral jab with my flashlight. Okay.
So you assaulted
What I
him.
do?
Go.
Battery.
Get out of here.
2 charges right here. In my opinion. But I'll let you investigate.
Okay. I'll get there same as I come check in with you.
According to Cecchini, Parker Whalen and Travis Krim had been causing disturbance by playing around and had even knocked down a traffic cone, which they put back up later, but they don't recall the same story.
Talk to him. Yep. Talk to him. Okay.
Yeah, things
nothing on
went
you?
sideways immediately,
So
right?
we were just
yeah.
riding on a bird scooter, like teenagers do. And then he came up here. I'm 19. Okay. And he hit the cone right here and knocked.
All right, so does this gentleman appear to be sober?
well, I play it some more. That wasn't enough.
it over. What cone? It was. I think it was the one with the gray on there. Okay, middle one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Goes in, and he started yelling, and he threatened him first. So he was defending himself, like against him. Where did he come from? He was up there, up at the top. Okay. And he was like, "I'll come down there and beat your."
That's hot.
We waited down here so
That's
he
what you
would
proved.
actually come down. And Travis was standing right there, didn't say a single word.
That's the way I like it.
And like on the road, and he came up and hit him. I don't know if it was like in the chest or the
Oh,
rib
see, John says sober.
flashlight, and then started shining it in his eyes.
I was right.
So I agree with John. I believe that individual is sober. This guy's high as a fruit bat, but that guy, I think, is fairly straight. He might have gotten high previous, but the cops showing up have completely sobered him up.
Sobered him up.
Yep.
You know how like when you press the brake, the back wheel locks up and it makes a squeaking noise, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you can drift when you do that. It's kind of fun, right?
Okay.
I
This
get it's
guy's
kinda
high as
late and
giraffe
stuff, right?
pussy.
Right.
But he's up there. He goes, "Hey, big shot, you want to go?" Right? Because he said, "Why don't you keep it down?"
What's up,
I
Polar
said, "I'm not
Vortex?
doing nothing
Good to
wrong."
see
He
you,
goes,
man.
"Hey, big shot, you want to go?"
Welcome in.
Right? So obviously, you know, I'm a dude, 18 years old. I can hold my own ground. I'm gonna hold my own ground, right? So
right,
who he was, right?
Right.
This random guy, older guy, not right? So I said, "Yeah, come down, we can go."
I
Right?
like you too.
Like, right? And I stood right here. I said, "What's up?" He walks up to me.
All right. So why is he asking someone who wasn't there for confirmation?
I don't know.
I'm not sure I understand. Like I said, this guy's high as a fruit bat.
And like, "I'm not gonna hit you, I promise." He goes like that and jabs me like right here in the ribs with the flashlight. And then he said he felt threatened. My hands were at my sides. I don't know. I didn't swing at him. I didn't pick up.
What did you do when he walked down?
I just stood there. I said, "What's up?" Like, I didn't know who he was. He without his badge. I think he was a cop. I'm not gonna swing at a cop.
I wasn't going to say nothing, but yeah, no, he do kind of resemble the chick from the previous video, don't he?
No.
Just a little bit. You got a little bit of that side eye going on over. All right, fine. We can do it, man. We can do it.
You know, I have more respect for him now. He's like, hit me. And like points toward his chin. Like, I'm gonna hit him. And I said, "No, I'm more mature than you. I'm not gonna hit you." And he goes, "Hit me." And I'm like, "I'm not gonna hit you." I went hit him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Then what happened?
So obviously I hit him, right?
You guys got here. And I asked him if I could sit down. He said, "You're free to do whatever you want." I walked over here. I seen you guys pulling up, and I stopped. Now I'm here.
Yes, you do. Smoking on
I
it.
didn't threaten him in any way. I don't know how he feels threatened.
So the original altercation was because you were
Squeaking the tires on the bird
and he
scooters.
yelled at you from up there.
Yeah, is that a worthy thing to hit someone with a flashlight?
It's
Because he's chief of police. He's above me. He's better than me.
What's up,
Cecchini
Angela
had
G? Good to
obviously
see
thought
you.
he could get away with it because of his title. After a formal complaint was filed against him, Cecchini announced his retirement and was later charged with assault and battery.
He totally looks like Kai, the hitchhiking. Well, yeah, the hatchet wielding hitchhiker. You remember that guy?
Yes.
I think I covered him in a show one time. Start raving mad. They reviled him as a hero, revered him as a hero, only to find out that he had been chopping folks up for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, that was just coincidentally a good thing, and not certain that it was actually.
But if you thought teens owning cops stops here, that's because you don't know the case of Taven Galanakis. 19-year-old Taven Galanakis, a freshman at William Penn University, and
Hey,
also
Jennifer.
a college athlete who, on 28th August 2022,
Absolutely.
was
Let's put you on
returning
the
from a
big
friend's house and was stopped on the way by Newton police officers. One of his headlights had been damaged, so he was using his brights within city limits.
Hi there. How you doing, sir? Good. How are you? Good. My name's Officer Winters with the Newton Police Department. The reason I pulled you over is because you have your bright lights on.
Yeah, I have a headlight out, so I just keep my brights on.
Okay, well that's not legal.
Oh, it isn't?
No.
Yeah, I turn them when a car comes by, I turn them off. But like,
Well, you didn't with me.
oh, you weren't close enough though. You were a while. Yeah, you were a while back.
It has to be within 500 feet.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
And you're
about
not
that.
supposed to have your brights on in the city limits.
My fault.
You got your license, registration, insurance
Yeah,
with you?
yeah, I got you. Where
That's
you
good to
coming
know.
from? Friend's house.
Okay. Anything to drink over there? I didn't hear what you said.
It's one of these. You one of these right here?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good start. That's the registration.
The officers,
Stupid.
Officer Winters, starts questioning Galanakis, especially if he has had anything to drink that night. After checking his documents, he asks the teen to get out of his car.
I'm going to have you hop out with me, okay?
Cool. Car on or off?
You can probably leave the car off. Do me a favor, put your gum on your dash there.
Oh my god, my dash?
Yeah. We're going to go back here, okay?
Cool.
You don't have anything on you? No bombs, guns, drugs?
No bombs or no drugs.
Okay, let's go back here.
Winters asks Galanakis if he has any weapons on him. After seating him in his car, he proceeds to ask if he's had any alcohol. Galanakis, being completely sober and wanting to end this quickly, offers to take the breathalyzer test, but he's denied by the officer.
How much have you had to drink tonight?
None.
What do you mean none?
I had nothing to drink.
Okay. Why would your eyes be watery and bloodshot?
You want to blow me real quick?
I don't
Oh
want
my God. That was wonderful.
I love this kid.
That was great.
Son, is that you? Love this kid. That is some excellent jujitsu there. Now he denies him a breathalyzer because that would be blowing him. Yeah, no, this kid's cool as a cucumber, man. Cooler than polar bear's toenails.
Despite repeatedly asking for the breathalyzer test, Officer Winters, denying his request, makes him do several field sobriety tests.
Let's do the breath gun. 2 for 2. It makes sure. Blow me too, man. Give me a little blow.
I will.
Blow zeros.
I will.
Let's blow real quick. Stop doing all these damn tests. Let's blow.
Can you see my finger clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
I know the drill.
All right. So I want you to put your left foot on the line. Okay.
Ain't
Take
doing
your
none
right
of this
foot,
shit.
Put it in front of your left foot.
Not at all.
With the
Ever.
heel of your right foot
No,
touching the toe of your
never.
left foot, just like
Even sober.
Galanakis performed the walking test.
Fuck all that shit. I crushed my pelvis and broke my right hip. I can't walk a straight fucking line if you put a fucking gun to the back of my head.
Right.
Nothing I can do about it. I have the swagger of a cripple. It's just the way it is, bro. You wish you could walk this way.
Winters says he messed up by taking an extra step.
Look at them chicken legs.
So you want to get to 9? I guess so. How do I turn? Take a series of small steps. Stop walking 13 steps. How many steps did I say to take? Like 8 or 9? I said 9. Why'd you take 14 and then 15? I thought you were going to tell me when to turn. I said to count your steps out loud.
It's clear the police officer is in the wrong here, so in a bid to incriminate Galanakis even more, he asks him why he's shaking. He responds by explaining that it's raining and he's only wearing shorts, whilst the officers are fully covered. This obvious statement most likely hurt the officer's fragile ego.
All right, during this, keep your arms down your side. Why are you shaking so much?
It's freezing, man. Look at you. You got all these clothes on, and I got shorts on and it's raining. And you false accusing me, so of course I'm going to be a little nervous. Yeah. You got nothing to say.
The officer then makes Galanakis perform several other sobriety tests.
Is that 6 inches to you? Yep.
How did I tell you to count?
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. I honestly forgot how you told me, but I'm doing this pretty well.
So, just follow my finger with your eyes and your eyes only, and don't move your head, okay?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know.
When Galanakis asks for the cop's supervisor, the other officer standing beside him says he's looking at him.
I'm going to check your eyes again, okay?
All right.
I'm going to go in a circular motion around the outside of your face, but I'm going to come towards the bridge of your nose, but I'm not going to touch your nose.
It makes sure.
Like,
Okay.
for real.
I'll tell you what. Give me 3 of your flashlights and I'll juggle. And if I can do that, I get to just go home. We don't have to do no more of this shit anymore, right? But if I drop one, I'll just get in the back of your car. We can go downtown.
I would have been like, I'm done. I mean, for real.
I mean, at this point, he's taking him to jail regardless. He has bruised his poor little pair of flesh. Shine a light in my face to see if it doesn't make me blind, right?
Sure. Blow me too, man. Give me a little blow.
I will.
Blow zeros.
That's like set it all off.
You're going to tell me.
Mr. Supervisor. You're looking at him. Thank you. Thank you.
This snide remark from the officer tells us a lot about their corrupt behavior. After saying that Galanakis clearly looks impaired, Officer Winters finally has him do the breathalyzer.
What I want you to do is make a tight seal around this and blow outwards like you're blowing up a balloon, okay?
Look at him.
Ready?
Look at him. He's like another bud from earlier. He swings both ways. He'll roll right now. Like, we can do this. I'm making it right now. Going hard.
Okay, you can relax. So I'm going to read you Miranda. Okay?
Yeah, no, I have very, very little actual original content that I use. Almost everything I say or do is derived from bad 80s films and YouTube videos. Confession time, I suppose.
Right now, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
After the test is done, Galanakis gets a 0.0% result, but the officer hides this from him. Officer Winters then talks to his supervisor on the phone, where he admits to Galanakis having blown zeros.
Oh, no,
can be
he
heard.
did. He did ask for a supervisor. The cop standing next to him was the supervisor. He was like, okay, thanks for that, bro. But he was already screwed.
But it wasn't his supervisor, was it?
That's what he said. He pointed to the cop next to him and said, there he is right there. And the kid just gave up. It's like, this shit's going through. There's nothing I can do about it.
Calling Galanakis
Yeah, I think we got one more.
I asked him, I read him Miranda, PBT 000. So he says he'll do an evaluation, but he's kind of a smart ass.
Despite blowing zeros, Galanakis is read his Miranda rights. According to Officer Winters, the teen must have smoked weed, which could be the only explanation for his behavior.
When's the last time you smoked weed?
Or the cop's an idiot. Maybe. That's possible. I mean, idiots got to eat too, I suppose.
I do not remember that.
Tonight?
I do not recall.
Okay, well, I think it's tonight.
I've had no weed tonight. Well, why do you think it's tonight? Why do you think I smoked? I blew zeros, so now you're trying to think I smoked weed. That's what's going on. You can't do that, man. You really can't do that.
Absolutely, I can.
Is he allowed to do that? Yes, he is. So I blow zeros and you take drugs, man.
I would. During my field sobriety, it is indicative of impairment. So let's be honest. I'm being
Oh
honest.
my God! Now you've been read your rights. Shut the fuck up.
Why is your field sobriety so poor? What? Why is your field sobriety so poor? And why are you so lethargic and slow moving and speaking with a slurred speech? And your eyes are watery.
Yep.
Watery.
As Galanakis says the officer can't do that, another officer responds by saying he can. Galanakis tells the officers he can't have smoked weed as he's on the college football team and would be out if he had as they conduct weekly drug tests.
No weed. I don't smoke weed. I play college football. I told you that. We get tested every Friday. Don't smoke weed.
Today's Saturday.
Okay. 30 days. Weed stays on for 30 days. So.
All right, I want you to tell me that you're a moron without actually saying that you're a moron. Right? Like I want a single sentence that defines your your capability of critical thought in one simple sentence. Today is Saturday. So he was tested yesterday. And if he didn't smoke weed tonight, then he must.
But the officer is claiming, well, you were tested yesterday, so today's Saturday, so you must have smoked after your testing, is what the cop
I
said.
understand what he's claiming, but it's kind of a moron path to go down. If you,
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
It does. It's not good optics.
I agree.
So if I did a test next week, I'd be off the football team.
I said, when's the last time you smoked weed? And he hesitated for a long period of time and said, I honestly can't remember.
Winters finally arrests Galanakis falsely on a DUI drugs charge. He's taken to the station, but maintains his statement that he had not consumed any alcohol or drugs.
Wait. Put your bunch back. Right now, you're being placed under arrest for operating while intoxicated, okay?
I'm not intoxicated. Sir, I'm not intoxicated. I blew zero. Oh, I didn't do anything wrong, dude. He made me blow. I blew zero. He's not excusing me on drugs.
Galanakis ended up filing a lawsuit against the Iowa Police Department and now is in a legal battle to make Officer Winters pay for his bad actions. I'm sure there will be some repayment for this directly from the state, but the worst thing Officer Winters will receive will be some paid time off. But as everyone knows, cops will not stop abusing their power whenever they can, and that's exactly the case of the corporate of Little Egg Harbor PD, Michiel Pritch. Little did he know
it's all about the power.
The corporate, on 28th May 2022, pulled over a teenager who had apparently given him the middle finger.
Why you giving me the finger? What? What's your problem? What? Why you giving me the finger?
I'm walking away.
Huh?
Am I free to go?
Why you giving me the finger?
Am I free to go?
No.
For what reason?
Why you giving me the finger? What's your problem?
Am I free to go?
No.
What, do you have a problem?
No.
Do you have a problem?
No.
You don't have a problem, then we're, I can leave.
Why you giving me the finger when you're walking? Huh? Come here. Get over here.
What?
Get over here.
Is that a lawful order?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Because you're giving me the finger.
That's legal.
No, it isn't.
Says who?
Says it all.
Pull up the law.
Huh?
Pull up the law.
What's your name?
What's the law?
What's your
What's
name?
the law?
What's your name? How
What's the
old
law?
are you?
Not long after the interaction started, we can see that
Clearly, we have to identify this terrible terrorist before he can damage other cops' egos with his hand signals. Such a heinous crime.
this teen is sure to stand his ground against the officer. Corporate Pritch then says it's illegal to give him the middle finger and he could detain the young man for doing so. He finally decides to let him go, but the teenager then gives him the F word, which seems to have got on his nerves.
Whatever. What? Come here.
I'm afraid of you.
Come here. Get over here.
Why?
Get over here.
I'm not doing anything
Hold on.
illegal.
Yeah,
Oh
you are.
my
You just
God.
cussed me off.
I'm
That's
totally
not
going to clip
right.
that.
Yes, it is.
I'm totally going to clip that. Did I just hear that right?
Which seems to have got on his nerves.
Whatever. What?
You are.
Come here.
I'm afraid of you.
Come here.
Get over here.
I'm not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, you are. You just cursed me off.
That's not a crime.
Yes, it is.
Says who?
Says me.
Says who?
Turn around. Come on.
Oh, that is not a crime.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Why are you cursing me?
It's not a crime.
What's your name?
It's not a crime.
What's your name?
Help! Help!
No help.
Yeah, that's gonna work. There's
As
no
the
help
teen
for you.
shouts for help, Pritch soon turns off his body cam, only to turn it back on after another unit arrives on the scene. Now, the action of turning off the body cam by the officer is a real crime.
Because you're acting strange.
What? That's not legal.
It is legal. He's allowed to
Who is
detain
this
you
kid?
until he performs his
So what am I doing though? What am I doing that made him detain me? What legal right?
Every time I rode by him twice, he shot me the finger. So I turned around and say, "Well, you're
Is that a crime?
problem?" Then he tells me
That's not a
this is
crime.
causing public disturbance.
That's
Then he tells
not,
me to
no, that's not a crime.
F off, big.
Yeah, off, big. That's not a crime. That's not a crime. He's looking at you because he's like, "What the f do you want me to do?" Because it's not a crime. I know my rights.
Who are you?
I don't have to say any of that.
You do if you're being detained.
For what reason?
Negative
what
there,
legal
Buck
reason am
Ghost
I
Rider.
being detained for?
Where are you coming from? And where are you?
What legal reason am I
Nope.
being detained for? I need to know that. Legally, I need to know that.
Patrolman James Lamontagne arrives on the scene and says it is indeed legal to detain the kid for his gestures against the officer. He asks the teen to identify himself, which is again incorrect on the officer's part, as the teen is well within his rights to not identify himself for the illegal detainment.
Why are you shooting me the finger? Why are you?
Is that illegal?
Why are you the bird? Yes, it is. When you are cursing in public, you are causing a public disturbance. You're being a nuisance to the public.
In what way? When he was driving past? Well, I'd like to see you guys prove it in court.
It's called causing a public disturbance.
I know the
by
law.
being a nuisance.
I know the law.
Not saying you're being charged with anything. At that
I'm
point,
just
he's
figuring out
detaining
what's wrong with you.
to make sure that there is nothing
Make
wrong.
sure you're okay.
Make sure that you're okay.
What reason does he need to
Make sure
He thought maybe
you are okay. Because obviously this man is in distress because he felt comfortable enough to flip off an officer. I've heard this story before, but it involved a bus.
You thought you were signaling him down. Were you signaling to him?
No, you knew very well that I wasn't signaling to you, right? I wasn't signaling to you.
You bring attention to yourself.
That's not signaling.
You're acting strange. I'm making sure you're
I
okay.
remember this.
That's so funny. Like, you're not here for my safety. You're not trying to protect me.
You know. You're walking
You
on the
maybe-
side of the road and you're cursing and you're flipping the bird.
Once at him. I gave him the finger once. That
you know
will
him?
not hold up.
Do you know him? Do you know him?
It's not your business. I
It is
plead the
my
fifth.
business.
I plead the fifth then. What's the First Amendment for?
Okay. The First Amendment is for your freedom of speech. Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you happen to be a member of the law enforcement community and someone asks you what the First Amendment is for, don't stutter. That's not a good look. Just say it.
Okay.
What does that have to do with
Was I
using
making a call
gestures?
to action? Am I calling for an action to be done against you?
Do
No.
you understand that it is? Listen. It's behavior that's out of the ordinary. Clearly, if you stopped all the way back there, I'm assuming you guys were back there and you just
We
continued
went
to
back
walk.
a bit further.
And you
back.
just continued to walk.
I wasn't running. I was walking.
Once he
So
gives an
let's-
order
let's
for you
be
to
honest here.
stop, you're supposed to stop.
I did stop when he originally said it, but I was asking, is it illegal? Is it a lawful?
and he took off.
Yeah, because I kept walking because you weren't pursuing at the first. You
All
only
right.
started pursuing because
So
I said you big. That's when
listen.
you got a little upset.
We're here at this point now. Okay. You've brought the attention to yourself. You caused the public alarm.
Well,
What
I'd like
we
to
are
see
doing-
you legally
so
hold
now
that
what we
in
are
court
doing,
because
I'm not charging you with anything, so I
Well,
don't
I
legally
would-
need to hold anything in court.
well, I want to know from your perspective.
I
What was I
pulled up onto the
what
scene,
you
so you
do?
tell me what you were doing.
Bring you attention. I plead the fifth. You idiot. How long have you been in the clout?
This guy's having way too much fun with this shit. You hear that giggle? Sound like a little schoolgirl.
6.
Longer than you. Listen,
Longer than you. I'm not a cop.
I don't understand what the point of this is.
I'm walking. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
It's the Fourth Amendment to be allowed to walk without seizures or anything like that.
You
Which
sure?
is
Are you
yes.
sure that's the Fourth Amendment? You
You want to bet money on it?
You sure that's what the Fourth Amendment? It gives you the right to walk without seizure. What's going to be seizured while you're walking?
My body, my person, idiot.
person.
You were about to. He said I was going to be under arrest. You
You
said it.
said you were
I
detained.
said stop.
You
No,
said you were
or you're
detained.
gonna be arrested.
So now what
Yeah,
happens?
so
now what happens?
he just admitted that
now
he
what
was going
happens
to
is when
arrest
he
me.
gives you a lawful order to stop.
Good to
you
see
It
you.
wasn't a lawful order, though.
You do
unindoctrinated.
not
I
stop.
It
appreciate
legally
it.
was not a
And
lawful
you
order.
do not stop, then that becomes a criminal offense, and then yes, you can be put under
But
arrest.
it's not a lawful order. Then I take it to court, and then he'd get sued, and I get
Maybe.
punitive damages. I'd be rich. Is that what you want?
That
You don't know the law.
may be what happens.
You don't know the law.
That's what's gonna happen.
The teenager shows he has more knowledge about the law than the officers do. The officer's lack of knowledge of the laws is seen when the teen claims his Fifth Amendment right and talks about his illegal detainment, claiming the Fourth Amendment. Corporate Pritch also says he had just pulled over to check up on the teen, as the gesture could state he was in some sort of trouble.
That may be what's going to happen. It may not be what happens. Okay.
Okay, I understand. All right, so what are we wasting time for?
Jury,
Am I free to go?
What may happen is you may get
Am I
a
free to
normal
go?
jury. No, because at this point
For what reason?
you were detained. Okay, because he told you to stop
Okay.
and you didn't stop.
Okay.
So therefore, you need to identify yourself as a part of the investigation. So what is your name?
Okay, I'm gonna need all of your badge numbers.
I will give you everything written down on a card. What is
That's a good direction to go, brother. That you just changed the subject. I'm going to need absolutely everybody's documentation. You see that hunter over there in the woods? I need his ID too.
Am I okay? I'll take it to court because this is still a detainment.
Are you a juvenile?
This is an illegal detainment,
Are
so
you
I
a
can still.
juvenile?
I'm not going to answer that.
You have to answer.
Why?
You're just being detained.
I said I'll give you my ID, buddy. He's such a pig, bro.
So what does that make you?
Not a pig. Dude, this is illegal. You'll legally have to prove that I was a nuisance.
When
to
you're
the public.
standing-
how would you do that? How would you do that? I just want to hear
Camera systems. Okay, so when he goes by in the car, okay, and he sees you doing what you're doing,
And what was
that's
I
all gonna
doing?
be there.
And what part of that caused the disturbance? That's what I'm trying to legally understand. I don't understand. Is that a body camera?
That's what it is.
Perfect. Tucker doesn't have to, you know that?
Perfect.
Tucker's been on back order for months. Because I have a lawsuit against them, that's why. And I wish they'd have body cams. I would love if they had body cams. Take out the bad cops.
It's for all of us.
Right.
It's for all of us. It's for everybody that's involved in the situation. Okay.
Appreciate it.
If you have any problems or anything, you want to come down, you want to talk to somebody, our supervisors are always there as well. Okay?
Well, I'm going
And
to take
you
a
can do
lawsuit. So who would I press criminal charges against? For what?
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to call.
Doesn't
figure that out
go.
with a
Welcome
lawyer.
in, bud.
Go. Hello.
Go from there if you want to see if we can press charges and whatnot if we
Perfect.
violated your rights.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, am I free to go?
Give us fingers.
Shut the f up.
Stay out of the roadway. Stop causing a public alarm.
Dude, shut the f up. Am I
Stop
free to go?
cursing.
Am I
You're free to go.
Stop cursing. Go.
You're free to.
The teen says he would file a lawsuit against the officers and soon he is free to go, but directs profanities at both the officers as he walks away. It is unknown whether the teen had filed a lawsuit against the officers, but this is a lesson to the officers to be well informed of the laws they're supposed to be protecting. If you like this
Appreciate you
video,
coming by.
watch this one. Don't forget to subscribe.
Alrighty then.
This is him. I was straddled on top of him.
All right. So this goes along with my series of monsters, right? And reiterating the previous statements I've made every time I do part of this type of a thing. Monsters are monstrous because they don't look like monsters. This gentleman, who looks like your average red-blooded, corn-fed American boy, woke up one day and decided he wanted to murder a homeless guy. And so he did. And now we're here. Now, where does that get fun?
Like this. Okay. And he couldn't fight back. It was actually surprisingly easy. He was saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Ah!" And I just kept on.
You know what's sad is this guy looks a bit like this one's got 551 subscribers. This is the one that I said was from a smaller channel. I think the last time I checked it had like 122. You're blowing up. I think that worked.
I'm stabbing his neck. I was so excited, so rushed up on adrenaline and everything.
This is Brian Cohey, the 19-year-old with a troubled past and various mental disorders. While being interviewed by investigators, Cohey reportedly admitted to killing and decapitating a homeless man. The Mesa County Coroner's Office identified the victim earlier that month as 69-year-old Warren Barnes. During police questioning, Brian casually boasted about his lifelong fascination with death and morbidity, but particularly chilling is the manner in which he described his act.
I cut open his belly to see his guts. It really pained me. Sorry, that was morbid. I tossed the armpits around, like I took the right armpit, threw it out, took the left armpit, threw it out, and then I took the head put it in a leftover box. I always wanted to know what it felt like to cut someone. It was just curiosity, more or less.
On March 1st, 2021, Brian Cohey was arrested in Colorado after a bag containing human remains was found at a local address. A call was made from someone who said they had found what they believed to be human remains inside a plastic bag at a home. The department then conducted multiple searches, and human remains were found at one of the search locations. Police said Cohey was associated with one of the searched addresses and was taken into custody for questioning. It was later determined that Cohey had killed Barnes on February 27th. The way he did it and why will send chills down your spine.
And how did you get here?
I murdered someone.
Okay. To start back at the beginning and go slow and tell me as many details as you can remember.
So, because I mean, Murray going to jail for the 15 years probably.
I have no idea.
Because
we're at the beginning.
It's murder. I mean, I'm going to jail for 20 probably, but I am in a bad state of mind at that time. I have major depressive disorder, so I am not thinking.
I did too, but I'm not going to go murder somebody.
Okay.
You say you have a major depressive disorder? I'm just curious what those are.
Actually, I have several. I have high-functioning Asperger's.
Okay.
I have ADHD. And major depressive disorder.
At the very beginning of the interrogation, Brian displays acknowledgement of the crime and the potential consequences, which indicates a level of self-awareness. However, that is opposing with his inappropriate emotional response, making the situation even more perplexing and disturbing. His disclosure of having high-functioning Asperger's syndrome, or ASD, as well as ADHD, and major depressive disorder provides some context, though it doesn't excuse or entirely explain the alleged violent behavior.
So what's important to me is to learn as much about you and what you did and as I can. Well, as many details as you can give me, the better.
Yeah, there's a road underneath,
Hobie's
right?
response. Hobie's response to that was to reach across the table, grab a dry erase marker, and start writing on the walls.
Under the overpass. And I was driving along, and I see a shape here on the railway track. So I'm like, oh, interesting.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's a homeless person. So I grab my knife. I put on 3 layers.
About, I mean, this looks like it's pretty close to the road and stuff. Somebody seeing you or catching you?
It was 11 p.m. So not many were driving by.
So were you worried about them seeing you?
I was worried about one of them stopping. But
what did you think would happen if somebody...
Well, they looked, well, it was quite dark under there, so they wouldn't have seen the guy, you know, like they looked. They would have seen me holding a bloody 12-inch knife, wearing gloves, and wearing a mask to conceal my identity, face mask.
Okay. So you weren't doing it for COVID, you were doing it to hide your face?
Partially.
His approach to the interrogation might be a coping mechanism or defense strategy. By being upfront and seemingly casual, he could be trying to control the narrative, deflect the intensity of the situation, or perhaps even attempting to manipulate the perception of his mental state. The officer had by now realized that he was dealing with an extremely dangerous individual with serious issues. He observed that the killer enjoyed boasting and discussing his crime, so he allowed him to speak freely, only interjecting with brief questions. Everything was proceeding relatively smoothly, and Brian began delving into the details of his crime. It seemed like the officer would quickly conclude his questioning, but what followed was a shock.
You know how I feel about long names, but let me try this. Ashley Barnes, breeding rats and mice and gaming. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Did I do it right?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Shock that left him utterly speechless.
I took the knife, I pulled back the canvas, and I stabbed his neck. Okay. He was panicking at first in his old man voice. He was in his 50s. I know why I call him an old man. He was saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Ah! And I just kept on stabbing his neck. Is it okay if I do a demonstration?
Oh, yeah.
This is him. I was strapped on top of him like this. Okay. And he couldn't fight back. It was actually surprisingly easy. I was barely breaking a sweat. I thought, oh, this guy, he's going to be tough. But no, it was actually surprisingly easy. And during the time I was growling and making animalistic noises.
Why were you doing that?
I suppose it was a frenzy.
Okay.
Because it was fun. Look at him. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
He enjoyed it.
Sickening.
I was so excited, so rushed up on adrenaline every day. And I paused and he said, why are you doing this? And I said, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. All the while, no, actually, after I killed him, I just couldn't stop saying, dirty. I wasn't feeling anything, but.
And why were you saying that?
I don't know.
Okay.
And then after that, I stripped his clothes.
All right, so AJ has more likes because she's cuter than I am. In case you didn't notice that part. I mean, this beard can only carry me so far.
I cut open his belly to see his guts. They're really pink. Sorry, that was morbid. Then
that part was the morbid part.
Oh man.
This is what happens when you don't tell your kid no properly. Wow.
I cut off his head. I gave him a Glasgow smile. A Joker smile.
He took some freaking ecstasy before he came in here. That's the only answer to this. He's tripping balls.
She would be even cuter with a beard. No, what is wrong with you, Tezuko?
Well, you know, dwarves.
Destroyed his eyes by stabbing them in.
Okay.
And then I cut off his hands. I put
Appreciate it,
on a Ziploc bag.
Good to see you.
And then I cut off his right arm at this joint and at this joint. And then at this arm, I tried cutting it here, and then I tried cutting it here. But what happened was, he broke his bone. It was poking out. And so I left that one here, partially cut, dismembered here, bone sticking out. And then I left his body there. And then I took the head, put it in a leftover box.
Some individuals commit heinous acts as a way to garner.
I think that's his way of saying his head game is trash.
Attention, whether negative or positive. Bragging about the crime might be a continuation of this need for acknowledgement. They might see the act as an accomplishment or something that sets them apart from others. Brian's calm demeanor, laughter, and seemingly friendly behavior during the interrogation, especially given the gravity of his crime, suggest a level of emotional detachment or disconnection from the situation. People with ASD can sometimes have difficulty understanding or expressing emotions in the same way.
I don't shit in their count.
Oh.
God damn, Janica. Jesus.
Neurotypical individuals do. While it is a spectrum and experiences can vary widely, it's essential to note that ASD alone does not make someone violent. While depression can lead to a variety of behavioral changes, extreme violence as described in the scenario isn't a typical manifestation. However, it's possible that profound feelings of hopelessness, anger, or despair could play a role in the individual's actions or perceptions. Brian continued to describe his crime in detail, providing investigators with everything they needed for their investigation. Actually, he gave them more than they wanted to know.
I was thinking about taking out his heart. I was planning to maybe keep a finger.
You haven't got that far yet.
No.
Yes, those are goat.
Right here, yeah. And I think you stabbed him anywhere besides, but I know you said the neck a lot of times. How many times do you think? Did you count them? No. I was going until he stopped. And here's where my car was parked. His corpse is here. You're going to want a crime scene that's roughly to the railroad tracks, because they're right here. Hid the hands and head in my room. Clean the knife. Throw away the garbage with the blood on it.
Okay, wait a minute.
Put it on high
The
speed.
head and the hands he kept.
Yep.
I wonder why. Mouth, hands, the same.
Freak. Yeah, I'm a heartbeat away from a necrophilia.
Effectively remove the blood. Wash it twice. I take his body out. I put it in the water because I don't want fingerprints on a body. So you cut him open, did you cut his arms off, his hands off, all that before you went home? Yeah, before I went home, I tossed the arm bits around. Like I took the right arm bit, threw it out, took the left arm bit, threw it out. So it's somewhere around that bridge? Yeah. Thank you for the water, by the way. Sure. Do you need more? I will take another, please.
Yes, I will take all the
let me go get one,
H2O.
okay? I hope I'm being cooperative. Oh, you're doing great.
I think I figured out a secret plan. He's going to get enough water bottles to fill up the whole room until they can't take him to jail. And he'll just swim free. No? Probably not. Yeah, probably right.
The head, because it was starting to stink, I was planning on throwing the head and hands away.
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I have it right. The head is inside of a trash bag.
It was.
Well, where is it now?
In the kitchen sink. My parents searched through my room and they found the head and hands.
On February 27th, after select.
All right. So, can you imagine that conversation?
No.
I can't either. I can't even. I can't. Well, I guess it explains why he's there confessing, huh?
Selecting a victim and committing a heinous crime, Brian, who was wearing a blue jumpsuit with a mask and gloves, took parts of the victim back to his house and hid them in a closet. He meticulously described how he carefully wiped away any traces that might link him to the murder. After doing so, he traveled back to the crime scene and loaded up other remains of the victim into the trunk of his car, and then went to dispose of those parts in the river at a local boat ramp. On March 1st, local authorities received a call from a reporting party that
Name of the channel is Mr.
I gave it to her.
All right.
I
Because you're cooler than I am, I see. See how I fit into your day.
that possible human remains had been found in Cohee's closet. Upon arrival, Mesa County Sheriff deputies confirmed that they were in fact human remains. And while on scene, deputies say that Cohee immediately admitted that he killed a man. Now comes the final part where he explains his reasons and motivations behind his actions.
I always knew I would be in this building, whether it was as a criminal or a police officer. I'm not a serial killer by no means. I always wanted to know what to cut up someone. Okay. So the arms was. So why did you stop? Why did you stop? Because the arms were just, that's it. That's all I wanted to know was like cutting off a limb. And I'm just like, okay.
And you talked about you were just kind of in a bad state that night.
It was, yes.
Okay. Why were you in a bad state?
I didn't take my medicine. And plus, for years, I was wondering what murder would feel like because you read like Ted Bundy and the Zodiac. They all say murder is the best feeling in the world. So I'm like, I'm going to try that. So how long have you been planning or
why go to a human? I mean, if that was his thinking, I mean, you know, why not a cat or a dog or? I mean, I'm just saying.
Like an auditor gets it, something tells me Big Country gonna like him in jail. Oh, Big Country, you be gentle with that boy. He's got a nice, soft, pasty face.
or looking for someone to do this with before you found this guy?
About a year.
LA
my God.
welcome in, bud.
Do you know who the person was that you killed?
Oh.
No. You said you've thought about doing this for the last 6 months, a year.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it before?
No.
Okay. You gotta ask, right?
Yeah.
How about animals? Have you practiced on anything?
Yes.
Pretty big stuff.
Tell us about that.
It was 2018 Halloween. A stray black cat had been coming around our house. This was before I moved into my mom's. This was at my dad's. And I was thinking about killing him. I then hid the body in a shoebox, and then I threw it in the trash and got away from that cat.
Did you keep him for a while like you did this guy, or?
I kept it for 3 days. Then it started to stink. There's a 3 rules for bodies. I like to call it the 3 rules.
Okay, tell me about that.
3 days, the body starts to stink. No, 3 hours, rigor mortis sets in. Body stiffens. 3 days, the body starts to stink because of decomposition. 3 weeks, the body...
It never clarifies whether he ate it or it ate him.
Is starting to seriously decompose.
Right, great.
3 months, the body is unrecognizable. 3 years, it turns into a skeleton.
And may I ask how you know that?
I've always had a fascination with forensics and with anatomy and physiology. That's something I made up. If I go back that night, probably wouldn't have done it. Knowing that, knowing what it felt like, knowing how this will all turn out, I wouldn't have done it.
Well, what did you think it was going to feel like? What did you said you were curious. What did you think it was going to feel like?
I thought it would be the best feeling in the world.
I mean, that's what they said.
In summary, the suspect's behavior and statements reveal a potential mixture of narcissism, a lack of empathy, a desire for control, and a profound detachment from societal norms and emotions. Such a combination can be seen in individuals with severe antisocial tendencies or disorders. In the end, a jury found Brian Cohey guilty of first-degree murder. During his trial, Cohey pleaded not guilty by insanity. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
See, people like that need to be in a mental institution.
Yeah, this is why we need full-on mental health facilities. Like we had one over here not terribly far from where I live, about 60 miles, and it operated for many, many years until it got shut down sometime in the mid-90s. And technically speaking, it's still open because you cannot discharge an invalid, like a person that can't, a complete invalid, and so there are a handful of patients still there, which is absurd because that place hasn't been publicly financed for 20 years, I think. Anyway, I dropped the StreamYard off into the chat. Does that how that looks? I'm sorry, that just looks weird. It just dropped 3 different ones, but I guess that's because that one's in. Or did you do it?
I put it in mine.
Okay. It should have dropped in all 3 of them.
It did
But,
not.
I have a little play out I'm going to do, and it's a full 3.5 minutes, and then I'm going to end the other 2 streams, and we're going to do this last bit on my channel. All right? So
Yes,
if you can join us, that's cool. If you don't, I'm going to grab a bite of pizza in this 3 minutes, and hopefully I'll be right back.
Sorry. Good news, though. We're going to have to move the party somewhere a little bit more private, but you're all invited. Lorenzo will give you the details. Yeah!
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gon' rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Say hi, Daddy. Say hi, Daddy.
Hi, Daddy.
Whose goddamn white baby is that? This baby is rice-skinned, but not light-skinned. That is a white child. That is Caucasian from the mountains of Caucasus. That is a Slavic baby, a Viking from Iceland. That's a good... That baby got 730 as a credit rating right now as an infant. I'm sorry, I should have set a better example in front of the nice white gentleman and your mother. I meaning no disrespect, sir. Hope to work for you one day when I get out.
Sorry. Good news, though. We're gonna have to move the party somewhere a little bit more private, but you're all invited. Lorenzo will give you the details.
How'd that work? All right, so Swiss, we are still live on my channel. I've got one last little thing I want to go through over here, and I got some auditor back here too, and I'm assuming that's my favorite porn mustache. Yeah, give him free mustache rides.
Yeah, it's growing back. Growing back a little bit.
All right, giggity. So I wonder how that transfer worked out. Absolutely horrendously. Everybody thought it was over. They all just left. Well, people.
On my TV, it ended. It's still showing live right here, but on my TV, it went over.
It's still live on YouTube.
Oh, on
mine ended though.
Yeah, yours ended. That's what happened.
Right.
I'm just waiting for you to say the mustache is just meant for extra ticklishness down there. That's all.
That's it. Is.
And your beard is used to clean the derriere of society.
Someone's got to do it, right?
Amen, sister. All right, so I got a 21-minute bit of video right here. Probably not going to do all of it tonight, but actually, no. We're going to skip to the one that is questionable, right? Are you familiar with Blue Chew?
Nope.
No, none of you gentlemen have ever had erectile dysfunction and come across those late night.
No, never needed any blue pills or any help in that area.
Well, this was specifically Blue Chew, and the only reason I paid any attention to this particular video is because it was done by Upper Echelon, who has in the past done a few really decent videos, you know. So your TV ended too. So if I click that off, it kicks everybody out and basically starts a new stream, something like that. Sunshine didn't go anywhere. Still alive. Okay. All right. I guess it's a 50-50 thing. I had like 29 people in here. And when I clicked that button, it went to 4. So I guess it depends on what they're watching on, what the setting is. I don't know. Anyway, so Blue Chew is a vile poison that should not be utilized in American medicine for the things it's used for. This guy's going to prove it.
This video is brought to you by Gadget Discovery Club. Stick around to hear more about the special offer they're providing to the entire upper echelon community. All right, let's dive right in. How many people have seen ads on social media, especially for something called Blue Chew? Honestly, not that many. So for those unaware, Blue Chew is effectively erectile dysfunction medication. Awkward topic, right? A lot of men feel a sense of shame when discussing it. But for today, it's not about the actual condition itself. It's about the medication. Blue Chew is currently being advertised all over social media. Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, podcasting sponsorships, a lot of them, you name it. But let's take a look at the actual product. According to their website, Blue Chew is a chewable dose of sildenafil, tadalafil, or verdenafil. It's pretty self-explanatory what this is for. Just read the front page of the website or watch any of the ads. However, a much more important thing to recognize is this. Blue Chew is part of a modern phenomenon known as telemedicine. It's all over their page. Telehealth, telemedicine, remote, no doctor's visit, etc., etc. And on the surface, assuming we can all empathize with the fact that these topics can be somewhat embarrassing for a lot of men, on the surface, that sounds fine. However, far from a new and improved method of administering medical solutions, what if I told you that telemedicine was at times a dangerous, highly predatory phenomenon that has inflicted enormous damage on a significant number of people? Obviously, that's a very bold claim, so let's expand on it. In May of 2022...
All right, so let me ask you this. These are chemicals that in any other setting you would have to have a full-on doctor's visit and examination to get them prescribed for you. However, with the advent of teledoctoring, telepresence, it has become possible to simply make a couple of phone calls and you're pre-approved. Like they've got it in stock and they'll send it to you. You can start paying next month. Does that seem healthy?
No. I just want to say this much. I don't trust doctors in general when I can meet them face to face, let alone am I going to trust that another person on the phone, well, video chat that I'm talking to is even a licensed doctor.
Exactly. And that is that comes up as well, whether or not it's a legitimate practitioner or whatever. I think I broke my chair, y'all.
A lot of the times you go to the hospital, you get a nurse practitioner and not even a doctor.
Sure. Them folks is insured, though. I'm not sure these folks are. And I hear tell that if you take enough of these things, you see blue.
I can tell you the only good thing telehealth is good for, at least here in Ohio, and that's if you want to get your medical card. That's it.
Oh, cool. Can I get my medical card in Ohio? And does it apply in Georgia? Dear God, if it does.
Yeah, you can. $250 in a medical or a video conference with a doctor.
My son got it in Ohio.
Cool.
Its Department of Justice initiated an investigation into telemedicine company Cerebral. Cerebral, it turned out, had been aggressively overprescribing ADHD medication, known as Adderall, through a network of nurse practitioners, hundreds of them. I have an entire video about this topic alone, and the details are pretty shocking. But to summarize, it was alleged by...
It was his Adderall video that tipped me off to his channel. And when I saw he had done a video on this like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, fuck yeah. Got to look at that.
Why?
We know it's terrible. It's terrible. It's got to be horrible, right?
Why do I feel like this is the new way of everyone getting their prescription drugs to sell?
Dun, 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 dun.
A former Cerebral executive whistleblower that the company had been aggressively overprescribing medication on purpose because there was a greater customer retention rate when those customers had been given a prescription for stimulants. It was alleged that Cerebral was directing their network of physicians to prescribe as much Adderall as humanly possible. And in December of 2022, the consequences of this boiled over. A young man named Elijah Hansen, may he rest in peace, according to CBS News, obtained a prescription from Cerebral without any prior diagnosis of ADHD. The tragic circumstances involved and misuse of that medication ultimately led to his death, while Cerebral was dropped by nearly all major pharmacies. Cerebral had allegedly implemented prescription quotas internally, leading to what some describe as a pill mill, where 30-minute telemedicine calls would result in prescription stimulants far beyond what was medically necessary or even safe for patients. In concert, the DEA is actually examining the concept of telemedicine as we speak. Now, that doesn't mean that the problem will be fixed per se. Governmental regulation is incredibly slow and very often impotent. The framework is aimed at requiring doctor's visits in person for extended prescriptions of Schedule 2, 3, 4, and 5 narcotics. ADHD meds, commonly known as Adderall, is a Schedule 2 narcotic, while sildenafil, tadalafil, and vardenafil are Schedule 4. What does this have to do with Blue Chew, besides the fact that Blue Chew offers all 3 Schedule 4 drugs I just rattled off without an in-person doctor's visit? Well, let's take a look. Here's the company's Twitter advertising page, which is basically just a repository of the ads they run all across the web. Some of these ads have millions of impressions. Some have tens of millions of impressions each individually, and there's hundreds of them. What do they show? Well, they show things like this.
Hi there. Is there anything I can help you with?
Yes, please. There's a lot you can help me with, but none of it involves work.
Well, here, you're going to need your Blue Chew.
I am not going to need my Blue Chew. Have you seen yourself?
Honey, we're going literally all night.
Let's go.
So why would he need Blue Chew? I don't understand.
After watching even just a couple of these advertisements,
Bro, when I was 20, it was unconscionable. It was just wrong. Those poor girls. Tinkerbell, good to see you. Tinkerbell Vlogs, welcome to the show.
Becomes abundantly clear that the target demographic is young men, obviously. But when I say young, I mean very, very young. Men in their early 20s should not need this product. And according to Blue Chew's own advertising, they kind of don't. See, Blue Chew is not advertising a medically necessary fix to an omnipresent problem. They are advertising a recreational activity. Why go for 2 hours when you can go for 12? Why do things naturally when you can use medication? And why wait if you can just get your first month for free right now and start amping up your performance immediately? These medications are being advertised as fun recreational activity, but it gets worse. If you dig deeper on their website, you start to see things like this, quote, start by completing a 20-question intake form about your health and medical history. In some states, a short video consultation might be required, which usually occurs immediately upon completing your questionnaire. Once you complete the questionnaire, a US-based licensed medical provider will write your prescription if medically appropriate, end quote. That's somewhat contradictory, no? These are medications that require prescriptions being directly advertised as a recreational activity. It's right there in the branding, where you might need a short video consultation, emphasis on might, but your prescription is filled instantly. That doesn't sound right. Anecdotally, social media is filled with testimonial from users who describe how easy the process is, even so far as to say that the doctors quite clearly want to prescribe the medication. You just have to give them enough reasons to say yes. Here's the thing. Erectile dysfunction in young men is an increasing phenomenon where emphasis should be placed on responsible diagnosis above all else. When determining the cause, treatment, and severity of ED prior to treatment, quote, a thorough physical examination should be performed on all new patients with emphasis on the cardiovascular, genital, endocrine, and neurologic systems, end quote. Suffice it to say, a 20-question online form without even a video call in most cases is not a thorough physical examination in the slightest. Now, some viewers might be wondering, why are you even covering this? It has nothing to do with the general channel content. And the answer is actually very, very simple. The primary demographic audience of this channel is men ages 18 to 45. The primary demographic target for Blue Chew is men ages likely 18 to 45, including, based on their extremely obvious advertising techniques, men who do not have a medical need for the product. That's a problem. Pausing there for a second, I want to draw your attention to a service called Gadget Discovery Club, also obviously the video sponsor. I do this thing now where it's basically no holds barred, critical honesty with all video sponsors. Some of them like that on the channel. This is where, once again, we have to bring outside context into the equation because the medical field is not some stellar example of ethical fortitude. It's actually a horribly corrupt industry motivated by greed and profit. Example, in 2020, opioid manufacturer Purdue Pharma pled guilty to fraud and kickback conspiracies. Kickbacks are when a pharma company will pay a doctor directly to prescribe more medication to their patients. In this case, addictive opioids, which is quite obviously fucking evil. But wait, because believe it or not, things get worse from there. According to a 2020 meta-analysis that examined 36 different studies, the association between industry payments and physician prescribing was consistent across all studies evaluated. It is a well-demonstrated, proven, and irrefutable phenomenon that doctors prescribe more drugs if they are paid by a pharma company connected to that particular substance. According to research done by Harvard Medical, the more opioids a doctor prescribed, the more they got paid, and the more they got paid, the more they prescribed. Assistant Professor of Health Policy Michael Barnett stated, quote, "I don't know if the money is causing the prescribing or the prescribing led to the money, but in either case, it's potentially a vicious cycle. It's cementing the idea for these physicians that prescribing this many opioids is creating value," end quote. In 2022, Biogen paid a $900 million settlement to resolve allegations that they had been paying kickbacks to doctors, so that those doctors would prescribe more of their own individual medication. And all of this is a consistently demonstrated background cycle where some of the bad actors periodically get caught, but the practice itself remains consistent. As a result of Cerebral, and other cases as well, we know that telemedicine is now an on-ramp for easy access to controlled substances. From the innumerable big pharma examples, we know that doctors quite literally get paid to addict their patients and prescribe additional medications. But when it comes to Blue Chew, advertising itself as a fun, recreational drug, the data is quite honestly horrifying. According to research from 2021, in this case a 65-subject study, quote, "Most men who use sildenafil citrate do so for recreational purposes. And more specifically, 66.2% of respondents use the drug in a recreational capacity, which is 2 times higher than the number who used it for medically appropriate reasons. In short, they don't take it because they need it. They take it because it's fun." Here's the last piece of the puzzle. From 2009 to 2019, that's 10 years, the number of men using sildenafil, the primary drug that Blue Chew sells among all three, has increased by 165%, while the cost associated with buying the prescription, even while critical essentials like food and housing has increased dramatically in terms of cost, the cost of sildenafil has decreased by upwards of 80%. This was caused by a patent expiring, among other things, and generic versions appearing on the market from additional competitors. But the takeaway is that the number of people using sexual performance-enhancing drugs recreationally, not for medically relevant reasons, has absolutely exploded. That's the scary part. Some drugs are chemically addictive and lead to physical dependence. Thankfully, that doesn't seem to be the case with something like sildenafil, from what we know, aka Blue Chew. But that's not the only form of danger. Blue Chew may not be physically addictive, however, the compound can be psychologically addictive. When taken for medically appropriate reasons by someone with advanced age, for example, there is little sign of substantial downside. There are risks, of course, such as adverse reactions with other medication or heart conditions, but generally speaking, it's a safe treatment for a known ailment. However, when taken for
Almost
recreational
certainly not.
purposes, the user has a measurable risk of developing psychological dependence on the substance, which in turn causes them to suffer from the very same problem that the medication itself was originally intended to treat. If they
All right. So in a nutshell, these are, what do they call it? Off scripture, off prescription.
They're off brand.
No, not so much that too. But when you prescribe opiates for pain to treat pain that opiates can treat, that is on target prescription. These drugs were designed specifically to alleviate certain heart conditions. It's okay, Truth. It's cool. I'm fixing to be leaving anyway. These drugs were developed to deal with certain types of heart issues, and an interesting side effect of these drugs being utilized was a massive heart-on, like the old man hadn't seen in 60 years, and then it trickled down, and now it's become something of a sex culture, And so people are getting used to the idea of, well, I'm going to go on a date and I might get lucky. And so I'll take the blue pill with me on the date. And they think you're just supposed to be able to just call somebody up and have it prescribed and delivered to you. And I personally think that is a very dangerous precedent to set, especially when you're talking about something that will directly affect your ability to perform later in life.
This is something we're going to be seeing commercials for in 20, 30 years. If you took Blue Chew in the night or from 2015 to 2025, and you now suffer from heart conditions and permanent ED, you may have a case to permanently sue them.
Right. And join the class action lawsuit, yada, 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 that whole thing. So here's my next question. I know that was kind of a short after dark and everything. But do I do the full play out again, or do I just dip out?
At least do a small play out for everyone.
What have I got over here? Let's see. Did I save that other one? No, I did not. I got a little something, but it might catch a major copyright claim at this point, but I'll give it a shot. I appreciate everybody coming by. You got anything you want to tell them?
Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe and don't take pills until you need to.
Right? You should just leave them where you found them under most circumstances. But y'all have a lovely evening. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I love you like a brother and a sister. Sasquatch out.
Well, I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows